What if I told you there are places on Earth so bizarre, so otherworldly, that your brain refuses to believe they're real? Places where gravity seems broken, where water flows upward, where the laws of physics appear to take a holiday. These aren't movie sets or digital effects. These are actual locations you can visit right now. But when you see them, your mind will struggle to process what you're looking at. Today, we're counting down the top 10 places on Earth that look like they belong on an alien planet. Some of these will make you question everything you know about our world. Make sure to watch until the end and let me know in the comments if you agree with number 1. Coming in at number 10, the door to hell in Turkmenistan. Imagine a crater 230 feet wide that has been burning continuously for over 50 years, shooting flames hundreds of feet into the air day and night. This isn't some ancient volcanic phenomenon. This was created by accident in 1971 when Soviet engineers were drilling for natural gas. The ground collapsed, creating a massive crater that began leaking dangerous methane gas. To prevent the gas from poisoning the area, they decided to burn it off, thinking it would extinguish in a few days. That was over 5 decades ago, and it's still burning. The locals call it the door to hell, and when you see it at night, you'll understand why. The entire crater glows like a massive campfire visible from space, creating an apocalyptic landscape that looks like something from a science fiction movie. The heat is so intense you can feel it from hundreds of feet away. At number 9, Antelope Canyon in Arizona. This canyon looks like it was carved by aliens with a perfect understanding of light and shadow. What makes this place feel unreal isn't just its narrow, flowing walls that seem to ripple like frozen water, it's the way light behaves inside. Sunbeams pour through the narrow opening above, creating columns of light that look solid enough to climb. The walls appear to glow from within, shifting from deep purple to brilliant orange as the light changes throughout the day. The canyon formed over millions of years by flash floods carving through sandstone, but the result is so perfectly artistic that it seems impossible for nature to have created it randomly. The walls are so smooth and curved that they look like they were sculpted by a master artist, not carved by rushing water. Photographers from around the world come here because the lighting conditions are so surreal that pictures often look fake, even when they're completely unedited. Number 8, Socotra Island in Yemen. This island has been isolated from the mainland for so long that evolution went completely off script, creating plants and animals that look like they're from another planet. The most famous is the dragon's blood tree, which looks like a massive umbrella turned upside down with blood-red resin dripping from its trunk. These trees don't grow anywhere else on Earth and look so alien that they seem like props from a fantasy movie. Then there's the desert rose, a bulbous plant that looks like a giant elephant's foot sprouting pink flowers. The entire island is home to over 700 species that exist nowhere else on the planet. 1/3 of its plants are found only here, creating landscapes that look more like an alien world than anywhere on Earth. The isolation has been so complete that the island essentially became a natural laboratory for evolution, producing creatures and plants that followed their own evolutionary path for millions of years. At number 7, Lake Hillier in Australia. This lake is literally bright pink, not light pink, not pinkish, but the color of strawberry bubblegum. What makes this even more bizarre is that the lake sits right next to the deep blue ocean, creating a surreal contrast that looks like someone spilled paint across the landscape. The pink color never fades, never changes, and scientists still aren't entirely sure why it happens. The leading theory involves a combination of algae, bacteria, and high salt content, but the exact mechanism remains a mystery. What's truly mind-bending is that if you take water from the lake and put it in a container, it remains pink. The color isn't just a surface reflection or optical illusion. The water itself is actually pink. The lake is completely safe to swim in, though few people get the chance since it's located on a remote island. From the air, it looks like someone dropped a giant pink contact lens onto the Australian coast. Number 6, the Wave in Arizona. This rock formation looks like someone froze a massive ocean wave mid-crash, complete with perfect curves and flowing lines that seem to ripple across the sandstone. The wave was formed over millions of years by wind and water erosion, but the result is so perfectly geometric that it appears man-made. The rock layers create natural optical illusions with lines that seem to flow and bend in impossible ways. The colors shift from deep red to orange to yellow in perfect bands that follow the curves of the stone. What makes this place feel truly unreal is how it plays tricks on your depth perception. The smooth, flowing surfaces make it nearly impossible to judge distances or heights. People often feel dizzy or disoriented when walking through it because their brain can't properly process the visual information. Only 20 people per day are allowed to visit, and for good reason. The formation is so delicate and the experience so otherworldly that it needs to be preserved. Many visitors report feeling like they're walking through a Salvador Dali painting. At number 5, Zhangjiajie National Forest Park in China. These aren't mountains in any traditional sense. They're massive stone pillars that shoot straight up from the forest floor like skyscrapers made of rock. These quartzite sandstone pillars can reach over 1,000 feet in height and are so perfectly vertical that they look artificial. The tallest pillar, called the Avatar Hallelujah Mountain, was actually the inspiration for the floating mountains in the movie Avatar. When you see them shrouded in mist, they literally look like they're floating in mid-air. What makes this landscape feel impossible is the sheer number of these pillars. Over 3,000 of them scattered across the park. They were formed over millions of years by water erosion, but the result defies logic. How can so many perfectly vertical rock formations exist in one place without falling over? The park also features natural stone bridges and arches connecting the pillars, creating a three-dimensional maze of rock that extends both horizontally and vertically through the landscape. Number 4, Salar de Uyuni in Bolivia. This is the world's largest salt flat, and during the rainy season, it becomes the world's largest mirror, creating one of the most mind-bending optical illusions on Earth. When a thin layer of water covers the salt flat, the entire landscape becomes a perfect reflection of the sky. The horizon disappears completely, making it impossible to tell where the ground ends and the sky begins. People appear to be walking on clouds, and the sun seems to exist both above and below you simultaneously. This 4,000 square mile mirror is so perfectly flat that NASA uses it to calibrate satellites. The variation in elevation across the entire salt flat is less than 3 feet. During the dry season, the salt forms perfect hexagonal patterns that stretch to the horizon, creating a geometric landscape that looks like alien architecture. The optical illusions here are so extreme that visitors often experience vertigo or disorientation. Your brain simply cannot process a world where there is no up or down, no horizon, and no reference points for distance or scale. At number 3, Kawah Ijen in Indonesia. This volcano produces blue fire, not blue-tinged flames, but fire that burns pure electric blue, like something from a superhero movie. The blue fire is caused by burning sulfur gas that emerges from cracks in the volcano. The flames can reach temperatures of over 1,100 degrees Fahrenheit and burn day and night, but they're only visible in darkness. During the day, you see massive clouds of yellow sulfur gas, but at night, the landscape transforms into an alien world of blue fire. Adding to the surreal atmosphere is the crater lake, which glows turquoise due to its extremely high acidity. It has a pH similar to battery acid. The combination of blue fire, turquoise acidic water, and yellow sulfur clouds creates a color palette that looks completely artificial. Miners work in this toxic environment, collecting sulfur by hand while surrounded by burning blue flames and poisonous gas. This scene looks like something from another planet, where the basic rules of chemistry and physics seem to operate differently. Coming at number 2, Pamukkale in Turkey, which translates to Cotton Castle. This hillside appears to be covered in snow or cotton, but it's actually made of brilliant white calcium carbonate terraces filled with bright blue thermal pools. Over thousands of years, hot springs have deposited calcium carbonate, creating what looks like frozen waterfalls cascading down the mountainside. The terraces are so white they're almost blinding in sunlight, and the thermal pools are so blue they look artificially colored. What makes this place feel unreal is the contrast. You're in the middle of the Turkish countryside, but the landscape looks like an Arctic glacier. The pools maintain a constant temperature of around 100 degrees Fahrenheit year-round, so you can swim in warm blue water while surrounded by what appears to be snow and ice. The formations are so perfectly stepped and geometric that they look engineered rather than natural. Ancient Romans built the city of Hierapolis here because they believed the thermal waters had healing properties. And when you see this impossible landscape, you can understand why they thought it was a gift from the gods. And the number 1 place on Earth that doesn't seem real. Another place by Anthony Gormley in England. This isn't a natural phenomenon. It's an art installation of 100 life-sized iron figures standing in the sea. but the effect is so haunting that it transcends art and becomes something supernatural. The figures face out toward the horizon, half submerged at high tide, fully visible at low tide. They appear and disappear with the rhythm of the ocean, creating an ever-changing landscape of silent sentinels. From a distance, they look like real people standing motionless in the water, creating an immediate sense of unease. What makes this feel truly unreal is how the figures seem to exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously. They're clearly artificial, but they feel alive. They're static, but they change with every tide. They're individual sculptures, but they create a collective presence that transforms the entire beach. Visitors often report feeling watched by the figures, or experiencing an overwhelming sense of melancholy when walking among them. The installation plays with our basic understanding of human presence and absence, creating a place where art, nature, and psychology combine to produce something that feels genuinely otherworldly. And there you have it, the top 10 places on Earth that don't seem real. These places prove that our planet is far stranger and more wonderful than most of us realize. From natural phenomena that seem to break the laws of physics to human creations that transcend their materials, these locations remind us that reality can be more incredible than any fantasy. Each of these places challenges our basic understanding of how the world should look and feel. They force our brains to process information that doesn't fit our normal categories, creating experiences that feel genuinely supernatural, even though they're completely real. Which of these places would you most want to visit? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this journey to the most unreal places on Earth, make sure to like and subscribe for more incredible locations that will change how you see our planet. Reality, it turns out, is far stranger than fiction,